Hey everyone, Liam here, and welcome to this match preview and prediction for the match between Jannik Sinner and Holger Rune in the fourth round of the 2025 Australian Open. Let's get into it. Before we get into the video, as always, if you enjoy the content on our channel, please like and subscribe. Really helps us grow the quality shot tennis community. Well, we've got probably the matchup where, we've got two different sort of personalities coming up against each other. We've got the calm-natured, sort of, just going, focused on the job at hand, Jannik Sinner against Holger Rune, who just likes to, he's being himself on court. He's said that many times. He's just being himself, trying to express his emotions, and fair enough, But it's just two different players, so it's going to be very interesting. And obviously, they've had a bit of interesting history in their matches and tension in those matches as well. So I'm definitely very excited for this fourth round match. Both players coming into this one in different fashions. Obviously, we can start with Jannik Sinner, just steamrolling through opponents so far here in Australia. Nothing really to be shocked about. I mean, number one seed, defending champion, just looking like he's going about his business, really just focused on getting himself further along into the tournament, not really focused on anything else, any outside noises, which is always great. Obviously, his match against Giron in the third round, as always, nothing. I have so much confidence in Sinner now in some of these early stage matches that it's, you don't even need to sort of, it's not one of those matches where it's like, oh, I need to sort of be there from start to finish to be, to make sure that he's going to do well, or like to know mentally, stuff like that. You just know Sinner's going to do well in his matches, and it's just a given now. He's sort of getting to that status, and that's what a real, world number one is supposed to do, or is expected to do, especially after what the big three set out as the sort of standards over the last 20 years. So it's good to see that Jannik is doing that. Obviously, Holger Rune has had a bit of a different way of getting himself into this matchup. Of course, his first round match, 5 sets. Then obviously in this third round match, realistically, he looked out of it. His legs seemed to be cramping. He was getting massages between every sort of 2 games at the changeovers, and he was down 4-2, 30 love in the fourth set to Miomir Kecmanovic, and then just hit one of those slap forehand returns at 30 love down. Then 30 love became 30-15. Then he got a little bit more confident, 30-all, 30-40, breaks back, and then it just started steamrolling that way. The fifth set was a lot tighter, of course. It wasn't as easy as he would have liked to. He got broken back, and it was just a bit of back and forth between both players. I think Kecmanovic, did bring some really good tennis to this match, and realistically, we know that he can sort of push opponents that hard, but he just does it once in a blue moon. So Holger was the subject of that once in a blue moon, and he managed to remain composed. He realistically, if he was playing the Miomir Kecmanovic that we saw throughout most of the 2024 season, probably would have won that one in 3 or 4 sets. But Miomir started very well this match and just continued on. And I think it was a good way for Holger to realize, okay, you know what, I need to sort of up my level, and I need to find that extra gear when it gets to these tight moments, and he did. But it's not going to be as easy coming into this fourth round match against Jannik Sinner, because obviously Jannik is a different player, different opponent, different mentality, different physicality, different shots. So Holger's really going to have to make sure that he isn't wasting energy. He's recovering well, because if he starts to cramp against Jannik Sinner, he's not going to have those chances to hit those slap returns and really try and hit a few winners here and there and sort of change the momentum. Sinner's just going to steamroll through him. It's not going to be as easy as you would expect for Sinner, though, of course, because this is sort of a matchup where it doesn't really suit Sinner as well as you would like to think. Obviously, the head-to-head coming into this one is 2-all for both players. They met most recently at Monte Carlo in 2024, and that was a very, very tight match, which Sinner won in 3 sets. All of their matches have been basically in 3 sets. I remember being in person at their 2023 Monte Carlo semi-final matchup, which Holger Rune won, and that one was, it's just incredible tennis. And I think Holger actually thrives in these conditions when he's playing higher level opposition, not in terms of higher to himself, because we all know what Holger is capable of. We all know what he can achieve, and if he really got there, he could be towards the level of the Alcarazes and the Sinners. But in terms of actually playing these guys, he plays much better when he plays against these guys compared to playing against a Mir Kuzmanovic or Zhang or something like that. So he's gonna be up for the fight here. We always know that Holger's not gonna back out too easily against Jannik Sinner, especially because he does have that sort of, I think there is a little bit of tension when these two meet and face each other. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an incredible match. I do think, however, Jannik's going to come through it. All their matches in the tournaments that they've played in the past have been a best of 3 sets, and they've all gone to 3 sets. Here it's going to be their first best of 5 set match. I would expect there to be at least a 4 set match here. I want it to be a 5 set match. I want to see some exciting tennis. I want to see some back and forth. I want to see some sort of drama, not in terms of, fighting, but in terms of, real tension, real battling on the court. So my gut feeling is, it goes to 5, but I still think Jannik gets himself through this one just because of the fact that he has a little bit more energy. And I think it's sort of similar to when we look at, Alcaraz against Draper, who has more energy going into this match. And I think when you get into these fourth rounds, quarterfinals, semifinals, that's when the energy really, how much time have you spent on court compared to your opponent? That really comes into play, a big factor. And I think the fact that Jannik has, had a little bit more time to recover after his matches gives him an edge here as well. And obviously the fact that he's won the last 2 matches against Holger as well gives him an edge. So I think Jannik gets himself into the quarterfinals here in Australia, and he probably does it in 4, but I'd love to see a 5-set match.